Teatime. I'm Chaiti Narula here from the Unitech Golf and Country Club in Noida, and the rain gods have decided to bless us with their presence today, and it's raining quite heavily but does not impact our game of golf today. On the show today, I've got the young and dynamic Gaurav Burman, who is the director of Dabur International. He's the fifth generation entrepreneur of a family that founded Dabur about 130 years ago. And on the show today, let's discuss the Burman empire in much detail.
On the show this week, we have Gaurav Burman, Director, Dabur International.
Encouraged professional management to come into the businesses because we believed that we wanted to hire the best talent possible to do the job.
And in news, Josh Luton hangs on for a one-shot victory at the Wales Open. And Paul Goydes wins the Hawaii Championship, his first Champions Tour title.
Gaurav Burman, thank you for being on the show despite the rain.
Not at all. It's my great pleasure on this wet day.
So you live in London. How often do you come to Delhi?
So I live between London and Delhi.
Right.
And I spend an average of 2 weeks a month in Delhi. My daughter's now in school in London.
Right.
And so my family's based in London, my wife and 2 children.
Talking about your family was one of the first few business families in India that decided to conscientiously hand over the management of the business to professionals back in 1998, if I'm not mistaken, when Dabur did that. Is that one of the most important reasons that you have been able to keep the family conflicts at bay? Was it a conscientious decision to do that?
It was not the reason we did that.
Right.
The reason we encouraged professional management to come into the business is because we believed that we wanted to hire the best talent possible to do the job.
Right.
And we believed early on that just because you're a family member or have Burman as your surname doesn't make you the right person to do the job. We listed the business in the mid-90s.
Right.
And we felt very strongly at that point in time that if we're a listed business, then we have to have the best governance possible. And as a result, we decided that the family should withdraw from day-to-day operations.
Right.
And we should professionalize the business as much as possible. And that's what we did. So although we still own 70% of the business, the business is listed and it is professionally managed.
Right. Interesting. Now that it's stopped raining, let's walk over to our tea box actually and continue talking.
Okay.
So Gaurav, what prompted you to be a part of the Dabur empire? Was it by default? If not, were you expected always to be a part of the Dabur empire? What if you wanted to be a professional, maybe a lawyer or a doctor? Was that something which was unacceptable from the family?
No, not at all. I went to school, boarding school in England, university in the States, and then after I graduated, I worked for a bank initially in London.
Right.
And I spent 8 years in New York working in their private equity group.
Right.
And really it was the opportunity that India offered.
Right.
And all of my family members, including myself, we were never forced to come into the business.
That's lovely.
And a lot of us aren't in the business directly. So for instance, what I do is I manage my family's investment program. So when we listed the business in the mid-90s, we promised our shareholders that we would dividend 50% of our net income every year. And we stuck to that. And we continue to do so. And given the family owns 70% of the business, that creates a pool of income to the family. And we decided as a family that we would invest that together. And we would look to invest in businesses that we could grow and hopefully for future generations build the next Dabur and the Dabur after
fabulous.
that. So whereas you could argue that I'm involved in the family, I really manage an investment program that's outside of our core business, which is Dabur.
Sure, and healthcare at home in India has been your baby from the start. What prompted you to make that decision to move into the healthcare space as such in India? I mean, of course, India offers a cost advantage over other countries in the world as far as this space is concerned. But apart from the obvious reason, what prompted you to get into this business?
So we view ourselves as having been in healthcare for a long time.
Right.
You know, Dabur obviously has many healthcare elements.
Sure.
It's an Ayurvedic business at the end of the day.
Right.
We have invested in healthcare for a long time. We used to have a pharmaceutical business called Dabur Pharma,
Right.
which we ended up selling to Fresenius. So healthcare was a natural avenue
choice.
for us to invest in. Our investments have really been predicated by finding the best businesses globally and finding a way to bring their business back to
Right.
India. And I had the opportunity to meet Charles Walsh, who was the founder of Healthcare at Home,
Yeah.
and Gareth, and got fascinated by what they had built in England. They built one of the largest healthcare companies in England. And their view was that for many ailments, for many conditions, home healthcare is a better alternative than the traditional hospital environment.
Right.
And we felt as a family that India was a natural fit for that kind of ideology. In
Right.
India, we have a lot of the elements that make home healthcare a very sensible option for consumers.
So I believe your revenue target for healthcare at home in India is 500 thereabout crores by the year 2018. What is the plan of action and how long before you achieve more traction as well in this business?
So we launched the business nearly 2 years ago.
Right.
And we've been very pleased and very excited about the progress we've made.
Right.
The acceptance of the idea has been better than we expected.
Right.
And we've treated thousands of patients already. A lot of those patients would have really suffered had we not been able to offer the care that we've been able to offer. And it's only made us more confident that we can build a very big business here.
Right.
And so we're putting as much resource as we possibly can. We have a phenomenal team leading the business.
Right.
And we're very confident that we're going to hit the targets that we've set out.
Right.
So we tend to take a very long-term view on our businesses rather than look at 2018 as a goal. But
the revenue target for your top line seems to be about 500 crores by 2018. And are you on track with that target that you had set about 2 years ago when you started the business?
yes, it's early days, but the business is growing much faster than we
Right.
expected.
Right. E-healthcare is something that we'll focus on because it contributes about 2% in India to a global market which stands at about 150 billion US dollars. Do you see the share of India as far as e-healthcare is concerned poised to increase from here on with more players like you coming into the market, into the space like this?
Our mission in Healthcare at Home is to deliver the best healthcare we can
Right.
to the patient at home. We use a lot of technology to do that. All of our team are equipped with iPads. They're equipped with the latest technology they need. And all of that data comes back to us and is shared with their primary caregiver. So like I said earlier, we partner with the hospitals, we partner with the doctors, and that data capture is very important because a lot of people that are using home health care from the less organized market aren't able to get that data back to their primary caregiver in the form that we are. So we will use whatever technology is important. But
Right.
e-healthcare as a sector, I think, will grow. We're at the fringe of it in terms of harnessing technology, but our solution is much more holistic than pure e-healthcare.
Right.
But to answer your question, I think the sector will grow.
Now, you are the director for Dabur International, and I'm going to come back to your FMCG business. And while that's doing fantastic, as we've seen with the numbers as well,
Touch wood.
Absolutely. The family, though, is investing a lot in diversifying into businesses like F&B, you've got Light Bite Foods, you've got hospitality, you've got automobiles, you've got sport. How much more are you planning to diversify, and which sectors really? And does that also take away some level of attention from the FMCG business?
It's important to understand that Dabur is one of our businesses.
Right.
And we as a family have decided that we want to invest and grow other businesses. And we
Right.
decided that 20 years ago.
Right.
And some of our other businesses are now of scale. Our insurance operations,
Right.
our financial services
Right.
investments.
Equity
So,
broking and all of
equity
that.
broking. You know, we recently were lucky enough to take a stake in Experian, which is a bureau business in
Yes.
India. We have several joint ventures in the financial services arena. So we don't view it as diversification. We view it as a family. We have a diverse array of investments.
Right.
But our core business and our oldest and by far most successful business in our heritage is our FMCG business. So clearly that's the business that we all keep a very watchful eye on. However, like we discussed earlier, we have a phenomenal management team and we have complete trust in them, and they're doing a great job.
So what new really with Dabur now? Any acquisition plans on the anvil? Any expansion plans? Any more additions to any of your product portfolios? What next?
You know, I'm not directly responsible,
Right.
nor do I
Right.
have a day-to-day role in Dabur. So that question is probably best asked to other people.
Right.
But the business is growing. We're highly cash generative.
Right.
We're not levered. And we're very well positioned to take advantage of any opportunity that comes up.
Interesting. On that note, it's a good time now for us to take a break right here on Tea Time. On the other side, let's understand why has Gaurav really stepped down from Elephant Capital as well, and what really next for his career. Stay with us.
Dabur has grown to be a huge business and a great business, not just in terms of size, but in terms of values, in terms of what it's created, in terms of the pride we take in our products.
Thank you for staying with us on Tea Time, and welcome back. We're still in conversation with the scion of the Dabur family, really, Gaurav Burman. Gaurav, now you stepped down recently from Elephant Capital. Was it just a cost reduction exercise, or were there some other really reasons behind stepping down from Elephant Capital?
Elephant Capital was a fund that I raised in 2007.
Right.
And it's fully invested and it's largely exited out of its positions. It only has 3 investments left. So it was time to step down from the board, although I'm still involved in the management of the business.
Right.
And we think that we'll be able to exit the balance of the investments in the next couple of years and return the capital back to our investors, and that will be the end of Elephant Capital. So like any fund, it was always designed to be a 10-year vehicle.
Right.
And we're coming towards the tail end of that.
Interesting. Now, do you see the Burmans emerge as one of the strong financial companies in the country, given the fact that your brothers and your cousins really have a lot of interests, whether it is in investment banking or private equity or equity broking? Do you see yourself emerge as a big financial force in this country?
Not sure if I would classify it as a financial force, but
Right.
we decided that financial services was an area that would be a growth area 20 years ago.
Right.
We've been privileged enough to have great joint ventures in the space. We have great partners in terms of investments. Some of the businesses we have grown tremendously. Our insurance operations I talked to you about.
Sure.
We have a phenomenal business that we're invested in called DMI Finance,
Right.
which I think will be the leading NBFC in India within a few years.
Right.
It's probably the best management team I've ever backed in my life. So we think as a family we will have a lot of successful financial services investments. We already do.
Right.
Experian, but you know, that's one sector we chose to invest in. We've been lucky. We had the right partners. We had the right investments. So we think that sector will grow for us.
Interesting. Do you think any of these independent ventures that you all are invested in right now within the family, the diversified ones, have the potential of becoming bigger than Dabur one day?
Look, my mandate and my family's mandate was to recycle our dividend income into new businesses that future generations could be proud of.
Right.
Dabur has grown to be a huge business and a great business, not just in terms of size, but in terms of values, in terms of what it's created, in terms of the pride we take in our products, the pride we take in our management, and we hope that we'll instill the same values in the other businesses we back. And I have no doubt that over the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years after I'm gone, the next generation will be proud of the investments we've made, and many of them will grow to a very large size.
And
whether they'll become bigger than Dabur, I don't know, but you know, one hopes.
So personally, what are you interested in now? Which is the other sector that you want to really diversify in after this? You've done NBFCs, you're done with P. Obviously, healthcare at home in India is catching on. Which is the next sector that you will enter?
The sectors that I spend most of my time on are financial services, healthcare.
Right.
But that's not to say we're not opportunistic. But right now, there are a lot of businesses we've invested in that we spend a lot of time on. Healthcare at home is growing, and we're very excited about it. We have a healthcare vocational training business called Berkeley Health Edu, which is growing. We're excited about that. DMI Finance is a phenomenal business. We have a couple other healthcare joint ventures we're looking at. Right now, what's taking the most of my time is we're looking at a consumer hospitality business. Again, it's with a phenomenal partner. It's with a global brand, and we're super excited about it. We'll see if it actually happens.
You're not in the position to be able to talk much about it.
Not right now.
Too premature, I guess.
But
is it?
It is premature,
Right.
but it's if it happens, you'll know about it in the next couple months.
Interesting.
And that's what I'm really spending my time on.
You have a great interest in sport as well. In fact, you're big on cricket. Where does this love come from? From the wife?
No, Karima has zero interest in sports, although I probably shouldn't say that on camera. But but no, I mean, I've always loved sports. I played sports at school.
Right.
Cricket's a great sport. It's our sport. It's our national sport.
Right.
You know, we're privileged enough to be involved with an IPL team, which last year had a phenomenal year.
Absolutely, Kings 11 Punjab.
Yeah, and but I love all sports. I love cricket. I play tennis. I love all sports. Sport's important. It's very important in all sorts of ways.
You think it's a great level, or do you think there are other reasons apart from that?
I think it's great to be involved in sport because I think it's healthy. It's good for the mind, and in a business context, I think it's another sector that's really expanding in India, and it's very nascent, and it needs support from corporates like ours to grow all manner of sport in India.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, sport keeps people in school, keeps people energetic, and it provides mobility. And I think that's very important in a country like India.
Right. Let's play a chip shot and then we continue our game. Come. Oh, beautiful.
Last shot.
Thank you. Well, talking about sport now, don't plan to take up golf really seriously?
I should.
You play really well. I mean, for somebody who's not been in practice, it was really nice.
You're very kind.
Not at all.
I would love to take up golf.
Right.
I just need to find the time.
Yeah, it
between
takes-
work and kids. But I will. I mean, you can always make time for things. So
you just picked on something you said a little while ago, that sport in terms of business is growing really well in India. So let's discuss the potential of investment into sport at this point of time in this country.
I think it's huge.
Right.
I think it's nascent. People have developed great businesses around it already.
Right.
The IPL is a phenomenal success.
Yeah.
I think the Indian Soccer League will be really interesting. As you know, we have a hockey team and we have
Right.
a badminton team. So I think it's very exciting. I think it's an area that will grow rapidly. I think it's an area that deserves a lot of investment. And I think given the growth, given the population, I mean, we have 800 million people under the age of 30. I think it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Right. And what's your relationship like with your siblings? Do you all get into a lot of family conflicts back at home, or is it something that, I mean, we've not heard too much of the Burmans fighting really anyway, from all the corporate fights that we've seen in this country?
Well, hopefully you never will.
Right.
And we just don't.
A lot of great value systems in terms of your upbringing, I guess.
Just we're still a very small family. There are
Right.
not many of us. We have all carved out a role for ourselves. We all do different things.
Right.
We have a business that's professionally run.
Right.
It pays dividends, so everyone's has line of sight on their income. There's really very little to fight about.
Oh, nice. Can you finish it?
Sure.
Now, there's a lot of talk going on about the Burmans really exiting Dabur at some point of time. And, there's been so much speculation. You just Google it on the internet and there's like discussion all over the place, whether it is through market analysts or, stockbroking firms or research analysts. Everyone's talking about it. What is your take? Let's hear it from the horse's mouth, really. Will the Burmans ever exit Dabur?
I can't see that happening.
At all, right?
I mean, everyone else may be talking about it. We certainly don't talk about it.
Right.
And we're fifth generation in the business.
Sure.
The business has been great to us.
Right.
We love it. We love the management team. I can't see any reason why we would exit it.
There's some rules by which we all live our lives, and which, on a winding note, what are the rules by which you lead your life, really?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, my life is simple. I'm a family man, and I enjoy
Right.
what I do. I enjoy my work, and I'm just very lucky. So my motto is just do to others as you would have them do to yourself, and try and live a nice, good life.
All right, Gaurav, on that wonderful note, thank you so much for joining me on Tea Time.
Thank you so much.
Indeed,
Thank
a
you
pleasure for you being here in Delhi and shooting with us.
Great pleasure, and thank you for bringing me back to golf.
You're most welcome. With that, it's a wrap from me, Chaiti, Narula, and Gaurav Burman on Tea Time. I will see you next week again with another interesting guest from an entirely different sector altogether. Until then, as cliched as I may always sound, enjoy the flight of a good drive, and may the sport be with you.